And if makeup brushes confuse you, you're not alone. Today we're breaking down 3 makeup set brushes that I own and use and absolutely love. And I'm going to share with you who they are specifically for. But hopefully it's going to kind of eliminate any of that confusion that you might have around what brushes you need to do your makeup. Each one of these sets are designed for a different type of woman. This video is going to help you choose the right one for you without any overwhelm. What impressed me most about these brushes is that they perform beautifully. You don't need to be a makeup artist to be able to use them, which is they're very forgiving, they're dual purpose, and anybody can use them, but the right set is probably designed for whatever your specific needs might be. So I'm going to briefly just kind of talk to you a little bit about each one of these sets. So the owner of BK Beauty is Lisa J. She's here on YouTube, and her beginner-friendly brushes, this set here, is fabulous, and you'll have everything in here that you would need to get through your full face of makeup, and they're designed to be forgiving and very intuitive, and a lot you can use these for multi-purpose, which is what I really love about them. They clean up beautifully, there's no hairs that come off, and everything is vegan friendly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link all of these brushes in the description box below, along with a discount code in case you're interested. But I'm not going to get into too much about the price. I'm really just going to get in and share with you what I think the best brush set would be for you. I'm going to go through each one of these sets, who they were made for, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to sample 4 brushes from each set, and I'll just do a makeup application. So Angie Hot and Flashy, this is her set of brushes, okay? She has a full 7-piece set of brushes here, and her brushes were designed for the mature woman, somebody who's beginner friendly, who has more texture on their skin, maybe more texture on their lid, and just kind of like a soft brush, and it's sort of effortless for a mature woman who wears maybe a minimal amount of makeup. If you're a makeup enthusiast and maybe you're a professional makeup artist or just somebody who applies makeup every day, maybe does a smoky eye, you would love Nikki LaRose's set here. This is a 7-piece set, and she designed this for definitely the makeup enthusiast. So this is for the makeup lover who enjoys doing different techniques. I'm going to use Nikki LaRose's set. I'm going to use the N16 brush for that, and you can see that this is a very it's a blending brush, but it feathers out beautifully, okay? Can you see how light and feathery this is at the end? The eye primer across my lid, okay? And I'm just going in there and tapping very lightly, and I'm gonna go in and I'm going to very lightly all across my lid. And can you see how nicely that distributes that onto my eyelid? And this is the N11 brush, okay? Now, you can use this for eyeliner, but right now I'm gonna use it for my brows and show you how well that works doing it with that. So I'm gonna take this browsing palette. Quickly wanna do your brows. You don't wanna use a pencil. You just really wanna fill them in quickly. 1, 2, 3, and you don't wanna be fiddling around too much, so. And I'm going to take this BK Beauty 212 brush. This is a blender brush, and I'm going to go in. Okay, I'm going to take my Patrick Tile palette. I'm going to go right here, not the lightest shade, but the one right above it, right here. It's nice and full. The brush just kind of, when you stick it right in your crease, it just kind of automatically knows what to do. You can just keep making circular motions and just keep blending it out. But it gets in there, and I have a bit of a hood, and I have a lot of texture on my lid, but it's not pulling and tugging at it too much. It's just really going in there and just very softly applying that shadow there. Okay, so now that I have a wash of color across my lid, I'm going to take that same brush, right, and I'm going to go 1 shade up, and I'm just going to go right here in the crease and kind of blend that out very gently there. I don't want to go too far up. I'm not looking to do the entire lid. I'm just trying to get a little bit more definition, the outer part of my eye. So this is the Angie 504 brush. This is more of a detailed brush. I'm going to go in there with a darker color, and I'm going to go right in just the outer corner of my eye, right here to the corner here. There, you can see how nicely those brushes work together. So we're going back into the Angie Hot and Flashy collection, and this is the A505, and it looks like this. You can see it's a flat brush, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some shimmer, and this is really important when you're putting shimmer on. You don't want to put shimmer all over the entire lid. So you really want to be very strategic where you place it, especially on mature lids. And I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to go into this lightest shade. Actually, let's do this lightest pink shade right here. And we're going to go right here, and we're just patting that in there very gently. I'm not putting a lot. And when you're putting on the shimmer, you just really want to pat it in there. Back in with the N11 brush. That's a Nikki LaRose brush. That's the angle brush, right? And I'm going to go be able to go and put a liner across my lash line just to kind of deepen up that lash area. So I'm going back into the palette. I'm going to take this, not the black, I'm going to take the dark brown again and just tap my brush into it and just pressing that into that lash line just to do subtle liner. And if you're so inclined to do a wing, you can also go in there and take the brush, angle it the other way with the longer angle coming out, and just kind of bring it down there and do a very soft wing. Just keep pulling it up. I go in with the black, and I'm going to show you if you go right here and pull it out, and kind of pull it out so you get more of a smudged looking wing, and you can just kind of pull it up. So when you're done, it should look something like that. This foundation brush is like one of my favorites. It is the 115 brush from BK Beauty. Can you see how it kind of bevels going upwards like that? So it really does go in there and really grab those curves and different shapes of the faces without leaving any like areas on without foundation, which is very, very nicely. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take this sculpted complexion stick from OG, okay, and I'm gonna take this brush, okay, and I'm just gonna kind of run the brush over the top of it, so it applies it very, very nicely, and it doesn't leave any streaks, it doesn't look patchy, there's no brush marks in it, but it really hugs the face very nicely and allows you to apply the foundation nice and evenly. I can go in, can turn it a little bit so I can get up into my hairline, go around my mouth and nose area, and that way you don't waste any product either. It's all going right on the brush and then directly onto your face. So this is the 115 from BK Beauty. This is like the beginner friendly set. If this breakdown is helpful, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. It really does help my channel, and it just really lets me know what you want to see more of. And I'm going to use a liquid foundation on the other side. I'm going to use this one here from Armani, and I'm going to use this brush here. This is the N15 brush from Nikki. And this is a multifunctional brush also. Like, you can use this for many different things. You can use it for powder, you can use it for foundation, you can use it for liquid foundation, you can use it for creams, you can use it for just about anything. And it's very, very soft, and I love the way that it applies the makeup because it looks very airbrushed after you're done putting it on, and completely immerse it. And I'm going to do the same thing on my face. I'm going to go in here. Very soft. Gives it a very light application. It's almost like it's not completely covering the skin. It's just really in there and kind of brushing it across the areas where I need it. So it doesn't not look heavy. It doesn't look cakey. It just feels beautifully on this. And I can even go up here to the side of my nose and bring it down here, bring it outwards like so. Now you see how nicely that applied it? I can go up here in my hairline. It's soft enough to go right in there. So that is the N15 brush from the Nikki. And I'm gonna take the BK Beauty brush, the 108 brush. I'm going to use this for my contour, okay? And when it comes to contour, it depends really on your face structure. Like, it's different for everybody, but you can see this is my Makeup Forever palette. I'm going to take this cooler tone contour down here, okay? And I'm going to just kind of wiggle my brush in the end of it there, like so. And I'm going to go around and contour, and I'm just going to very gently take it and blend it going upwards. Not too hard. You can see how nicely it blends it out. The brush is doing all the work. I don't need to go in there and put hard lines on there or dots. Like, I just need to simply dip it into the contour and then just kind of lightly blend it up. I can add more if I need to. And that just gave me a very slight contour. Then I can take the same brush and I can go across my forehead and just kind of blend it out. Do you see how nicely there's no separation between my hairline? And again, the brush is doing all the work. I just need to kind of just follow the motions. And then I don't really need to add any more product on here, and I can come down here and do my gel. I'm gonna use this nice fluffy brush here from BK Beauty collection. Okay, this is the beginner friendly collection. This is the number 107 brush, very soft, very light. And I'm gonna do some bronzer on top of that contour. Dip it in there very gently, bronze everything up a little bit. And I'm gonna start up here, and I'm just gonna let the brush do all the work. And I just kind of make like swirling motions coming down, keeping it right here on my cheekbone. And that just kind of bronzed it up a bit. I'm gonna take the Angie 507 brush. This is a blush brush, okay? You can see, again, it has a nice shape here, okay? Where you can take the longer part and bring it up this way, whatever way you like to put on your blush. I like to go up like this, because it's a thinner part up here that you're looking to put the blush on with. This Dior blush here, just really keeping it focused on the tip of the brush and not really pushing it in there too hard. And just kind of lightly dab it going upwards. These brushes are so soft. They feel lovely on the skin. If I need to go in and press a little harder to get more pigment on there, I can go ahead and do that. Okay, so you can see how nicely that sits there. Kind of just blends it out. It doesn't look too harsh and it's not too heavy. It just really is very soft looking. This is the N17 brush. Okay, Look at that, it's beautiful. So you can use like a powder on one side, and then you can use like a cream on the other side, okay? So if you want to put on even your foundation with this side, if you have a liquid foundation, you can put it on with this side, and then if you have blush that's a powder, you can go on the other side and use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is a cream blush from Westman Atelier, and I'm going to take this side over here, okay, and I'm going to just take my brush on the end of that, take it and bring that blush going upwards like so. You see how nicely that distributes that on there? Okay, keeps it up nice and high, goes right where you need it. You can flip it over if you need to. Go in with the side of this brush and kind of blend it out a little bit more if I need to. Kind of sharpen it up if I brought it down too low. I can also go in here in the hairline with that side too, that side part of that brush. Okay, let's go back in and show you a couple more things with these brushes. I'm hoping I'm not overwhelming you with this, but it's a lot of information, and at the end I'll kind of go over everything. This is the Angie, this is the Kitten Paw brush. Okay, this is a concealer brush. Okay, you can see how it's slanted. Okay, also very soft. Okay, you can use this for many different things too. I saw Angie using it with using her contour. Like if you need to contour your nose, you can go in here and use this brush. I'm going to go in and do the concealer with it, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to take this Skin Mimetics concealer. And if you have a lot of texture in your under eye and you really need to get in there and push the concealer to your under eye, this is a great brush for that. Dab my brush into it completely, and I'm going to show you, go right in here with it. Now I always have to this darken this in here. I need something that goes in there nicely like that, so I can just turn it like that and press that concealer in there. Okay, and then I can just take this and press. So if you do have an under eye that really creases a lot and you really need to push that product in there, and when I say push, I mean very gently bring that in there. This is a great brush for that. I've heard so many people say wonderful things about this brush. And it just kind of shapes nicely. I can cut this line out a little bit more here. So where I was doing that like blown out wing there, I can take the other end of that if I want and go out there and clean that up and just kind of pull. I can stretch that concealer all the way up, and then I can kind of soften up those edges there. So it gives it a cleaner look. If you need to go in there and clean up your wing all the time, this is a great brush for that. If you're concealing your under eye and you don't have a lot of texture, you don't really need to push the concealer into different areas. This Nikki LaRose brush, this the N16 brush, okay, because it has, you see how light and feathery that is? Okay, that's just gonna kind of blow that concealer out in there. It's not gonna look too heavy, it's not gonna look too harsh. Concealer on there. Take my brush and I'm just gonna go in the end of it and swirl it around like so. And I'm gonna go in here and I'm just gonna kind of flick that up and flick it outwards. You see how nicely it kind of flows going out towards, lifting it up towards my temple. And I can just take it and go right in here with it and just kind of soften it up in here. So it looks very blended looking. No harsh lines. All right, so if you're somebody that like puts on your concealer and you feel like there's hard lines, like you would love this brush, okay? Because it just really is going to soften it up. So I can just tell when I'm using these brushes that there was a tremendous amount of thought that went into each design on this brush. You know, they really thought about what the problems were and what they needed to do to fix like these certain issues that women have when they're applying their makeup. And I'm telling you, like, they did such an amazing job. When I saw this brush here, I like, oh, I love that. Because my thing is, I always like my makeup to look very soft and blown out. I don't like any hard lines. I like just softness. I really almost don't even like to know that I have makeup on. But if there is makeup on, I just want it to look very soft and very subtle looking. This brush here, this flat brush, you can never go wrong with a flat brush like that. You can do so many things if you need to touch up around your lip, okay? Around here, if you need to go in there and touch up and you need to be precise about where you're touching up. And like if you already have your makeup on and you need to go in there and touch up around your lips, this is perfect. It's also great for cutting out your brow. And maybe you have some loose hairs, you can just go in there with this and just kind of pull it out and just clean that up. So it looks very clean look. And this is the Angie 505 brush. This comes in her collection. See the difference? See how that just made that brow look a little bit sharper and cleaner looking? And you can also, here's a little shimmer. You can also go in there and just apply, like when you're putting shimmer on a mature eye, you just really want to put it like maybe right there. right? You don't want to go anywhere else with it. So you would just bring that up here and just kind of dab that in there. If you like shimmer in here, hit the reflection, you can just take that brush and go right in here with it and bring it right across here, just very subtly, just to give it a little bit more pop where you don't want shimmer like all over the place and kind of, you know, flying all over. Powder brush, right? If your skin gets very oily, you have different areas where there's a lot of shine, you can take that same brush, okay, that Nikki brush here, go into your powder and kind of press that into areas where you need less shine. If you like a highlight, like a very soft highlight, and you want to be really strategic about where you want to put it, I'm going to use this one here. This is the Balm from Chanel. It's called Dragé, okay? And I would just take this brush here from BK Beauty. This is the 108 brush. And I would just take the top of that and kind of put it right where I want that shine. I don't want it underneath my eye. I just really want it on my cheekbones just to make them pop a little bit more. So this is the 207 brush. This is from BK Beauty. If you like to go and apply shadow to your lower lash line, I would go in here, okay, take this color here and go in there and be very strategic about where you're putting it and just kind of smudge that on the under eye there. And you need the littlest bit of product and you just need to let the brush do the work. So here's our final decision guide. If you are looking for easy, minimal, foolproof makeup, like the BK Beauty collection is amazing, okay? You cannot go wrong with these brushes. I use them all the time. I have them in my kit and I bring them on weddings and I use them for just about every makeup application. They are beautiful. So if you are a mature beauty and you're looking for a makeup brushes that work beautifully on mature skin needs, then you will love the Angie Hot and Flashy brushes. You have just about everything here that you will need to do a beautiful application, with the exception of a foundation brush. Okay, so you would need a foundation brush if you were going to purchase these, but you can buy them separately too. If you're looking to up your makeup game and you are a professional and you're just a real makeup enthusiast, these brushes here from Nikki are absolutely amazing. You cannot go wrong with these brushes. They're all amazing. These women put a lot of thought and care into designing these brushes for the makeup needs that we have. So, and you don't need every brush. You just need the right brushes for you. So current pricing and everything is in the description box below. You can use my code KathleenB10 to get 10% off. I hope you gained some value from this video. If you did, please consider subscribing. And also don't forget to download my free guide. It's in the description box below also. And that's my guide for healthy glowing skin and healthy hair. All right guys, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.